Another week, boys, and another TWAB. This week in Destiny, we're getting ready to race in Revenant. That's because we've not only got a new dungeon coming in a couple weeks, we also have our first ever dungeon race to commemorate its launch. We've got all the details to share, so let's jump in. Topics for this week: Vesper's host dungeon race. Watch the dungeon race on Twitch Rivals. Oh, so we're getting another Twitch Rivals. Revenant Act 1 developer live stream on October the 1st, which is, what is that? When is October the 1st? Next Tuesday, okay. PvP Strike Team updates. All right. Now, Vesper's host dungeon race. Vesper's host. Oh, wow. Okay. Chat, this is the image. What are we feeling about this? What do we think it is? Kind of reminds me of, what was the first raid lair? Eater of Worlds. Kind of gives me like Eater of World vibes, right? Well, I'm assuming it's going to be... Well, this looks Vex themed, but I also feel like it's going to have to tie in some way to Scorn, right? All right. Now, Vesper hosts the new dungeon coming with Revenant will be releasing on Friday, October the 11th. Not only will it be the first dungeon to have contest mode enabled, but we're also excited to announce the Vesper's host dungeon race. As we've done with raids in the past, we're inviting the top fire teams in the world to compete for glory and prizes in a race to the finish line. It's going to be a bit different compared to a raid this time. The first 3 fire teams to finish the dungeon will be crowned winners and rewarded. For these brave guardians looking to take on the challenge, here's what you can expect. All right, so this is going to be for 3 teams. Details: contest mode will be enabled for 48 hours. Normal mode will be available as soon as the first 3 teams clear the dungeon. Wow. How do y'all feel about that? We don't even have that for contest mode raids. As soon as the dungeon is completed by 3 teams, which for a dungeon, I would think fairly soon. Boom, normal mode unlocks for everybody. Now, you'll need to be at 1985 power level to be at the cap through all the encounters. Okay, we'll be good on that front. Now, entry requirements. Assemble a fire team of 3 players and start the Vesper's host dungeon in contest mode from the planet system map. All fire team members must own the final shape dungeon key and acquire the quest Rogue Network from Spider in the Last City seasonal hub. Dude, Spider's making a comeback. What? Now, completion criteria. Once the final encounter is complete, the fire team must loot the final chest or their finish may not be recorded. A team's official finish will be recorded when they loot the final chest. At least 1 member of the fire team must have completed and received loot for every encounter, and it must be the first time completing the activity for all members of the fire team. For full details on eligibility and requirements for the race, please visit our official rules. Dude, Spider's coming back. It's coming back, man. It makes sense, honestly, considering the lore implications surrounding this next episode. Now, contest mode details. Contest mode applies some very specific rules to raids and now dungeons. Enemies are more aggressive. Encounters feature resurrection tokens, and some encounters will have an enrage mechanic that limits the number of phases or the time players have left to complete it. Also, character power does not provide an advantage above the recommended level. Keep in mind, guys, this is the first time we're having a contest mode dungeon. We've had it many times for raids, but this is a first for dungeons. Now, those of you that triumph over this challenge during the first 48 hours after the dungeon launches will earn bragging rights, a special emblem, and the dungeon exotic weapon. What? So anyone that does the dungeon on contest mode, you get the exotic outright? Oh, that's crazy. That's wild. Well, that's one way to sweeten the pot. Yeah. Which, by the way, is going to be... Wait. Hold on. What is the dungeon exotic? Is Icebreaker the dungeon exotic? Yeah, Icebreaker is the dungeon exotic, right? All right. Well, guaranteed Icebreaker if you do it on contest mode. Yes, it's a guaranteed reward during contest mode. You have plenty of time to prepare for what's to come and to put together an incredible fire team. For those who aren't interested in contest mode, you won't have to wait 48 hours to take your shot at the new dungeon. Normal mode will be enabled as soon as the first 3 fire teams have completed the dungeon. Okay, now follow the dungeon race on Twitch Rivals. We're just a few weeks away from the release of the new dungeon, Vesper's host. And with it comes an epic challenge between the top fire teams in the world as they race to the podium to win our inaugural dungeon race. To celebrate the occasion, we're partnering with Twitch Rivals to broadcast some of the streamers participating in the race. If you're a creator looking to be a part of the event, signups begin today and will be open until October the 4th, 5 p.m. Pacific. Registered and approved creators will be provided with the following exclusive Twitch drops while the race is taking place. The effortless flow emblem. Watch at least 2 hours of any creator with Twitch drops enabled. Okay. Now, this will be active between October the 11th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific until October the 11th, 10 a.m. Pacific. Until October the 13th. Okay. Gotcha. So active between October the 11th and October the 13th. Now, broadcasting from the Dark Emblem, subscribe to your favorite Destiny 2 streamer. This will be active between October the 11th and October the 13th, simply for just subscribers. So no gifting. I wonder if this is going to be retro. It should be retroactive, guys. We'll get some clarification on that. And what I mean by that is that if you are already subscribed to someone playing Destiny 2, a D2 streamer, whoever that may be, I want to say the emblem will still be rewarded to you. Guys, what happened the last time? Didn't we have a situation before where you had to resubscribe? You got to make sure you resubscribe during that time frame in order for it to count. You don't have to unsubscribe and then resubscribe. You just have to hit the share notification resubscribe button for the month if you guys are on a reoccurring subscription here. All right, now join us for the Revenant Act 1 developer live stream. Destiny 2 Revenant is launching on October the 8th, and we're excited to give you a closer look at everything we've been working on. Tune in on October the 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific for our developer live stream, where we'll share a detailed look at everything coming in the first act of Revenant, along with an early chat detailing some of the upcoming changes that will arrive with Codename Frontiers. We'll have a new emblem you can earn via Twitch drops, so watch at least 15 minutes of the live stream to earn Revenant Echo, making sure you have your Twitch account linked on Bungie.net to collect your loot. So this is the Revenant Echo emblem. Oh my god, sexy! So you just have to watch 15 minutes of the live stream and you get it? Hell yeah. That looks good. That emblem looks fire. Now, PvP Strike Team update. Hey, Guardians, it's the PvP Strike Team here with an update on what you can expect in Revenant. Before we get into the details, here's a quick outline of what we'll be covering. So, preview of what's coming in Revenant. General Crucible, Reprise D2 Map, Solitude. Updated UI features class icons return assisted by messages, Tool of Destruction tombstone icons, mercy rule changes, lobby balance improvements, competitive point reward simplification, placement match improvements, sandbox weapon meta overview, PvP weapon micro tuning, Trials of Osiris, upcoming map schedule, new weapons, class-based Trials lab. Ooh. All right, the Guardian game's all over. All right, and a preview of what's coming beyond Revenant. Heresy, next episode, Trials of Osiris rework. Crucible-specific ability uptime tuning, playlist reorganization, Iron Banner improvements, skill and rank changes. We have another substantial Crucible update planned for 2025, and we'll have more to share on this in the future. Now, what to expect for Revenant? To set expectations, we will be relatively quiet during Revenant outside of some work on Trials of Osiris rewards and general sandbox spawn and map tuning. We're now working on a substantial overhaul of multiple PvP systems of Heresy and beyond, built on the knowledge we've gained from our experimentation over the last 6 months. We will share some small details and a selection of our goals below, but we'll have more information for you later once the changes are more solidified. In the meantime, to help hold you over, we do have a handful of changes going live in Revenant that we could share. So first, the Reprise map Solitude. Guys, y'all remember this map? It was actually one of my favorite maps, dude. I love the different level changes, the back area where the ice, you could have somebody literally, you could sit right here, get a good lane in with a sniper or a scout rifle. You also had that other back area back over there, this middle area that was highly contested where you had ammo that spawned. Solid one, man. Solid. I don't really know why we lost this map. Was it because of Mars when it went away or something? Now for Revenant, we're bringing back a fan favorite with a reprised version of Solitude. This updated version has some small changes to geometry and spawn locations to improve map flow, and it's been set up to immediately drop into our competitive and 6v6 modes. We're going to hold off adding to Trials for a bit while we verify the competitive integrity of the map in the live game. Fair enough. Now, updated UI features. We made several UI changes that should help provide information more clearly during combat. To start, class icons will return, displaying the in place of Guardian rank on enemies. Okay. How do you like this? You know, in a world of like things you buy from Eververse and you're constantly like changing up your look, maybe this icon could give you like some like indication of how to approach that gunfight versus just rank. I definitely prefer that. Yeah. You know what you're up against. Whereas rank, you know, the only thing about rank that scared me was when I saw like a Guardian rank 5 at like upper levels of comp. That would terrify me. I would see a 5 or 6. I knew it. They were about the game. But I mean, like, I think this right here, the classes, that type of feedback is way more necessary. Now, we've also added assisted by. Call out to the death screen that will tell you when the person who defeated you was assisted by another Guardian or Guardians. What? Finally, we updated the tombstone icon for your allies to show you their tool of destruction, in case you missed it in the kill feed. I don't know how I feel about this. How do we feel about this? My concern here is there too much happening on the screen? I will say this though, that is huge feedback. If you're coming around, especially like a 1v1 scenario, you see someone get killed by a sniper rifle shot, you don't have to look down at the feed. It shows your friend that just got his head taken off with a sniper rifle logo. And in your mind, you should go, oh, they just shot their one and only special round shot. I can now push up effectively with my primary and I don't have to worry about my head getting clipped either. Looks a bit too big. I'm willing to try it, man. I'm willing to try it. This is like really good quality of life stuff right here though. Now updating mercy rules. In Revenant, we've done a pass over our mercy rules for 6v6 playlists. Initially, these rules were set to only activate during a small window of time in the match, which has led to occurrences where a game that should have been a mercy has bypassed the window and dragged onto completion. Additionally, there was a portion of time where a game would not mercy, but it would turn join in progress off. So games could go down several players, but neither the mercy rule nor the backfill feature would kick in as expected. Moving forward, we have extended the window within which a game can mercy and close the gap between disabling JIP and enabling a mercy, so that JIP will only be disabled if a mercy is imminent. Due to the increased window, we expect the number of games that end in mercies to increase. But as soon as we have enough data, we will tune the mercy trigger limits for corresponding game modes as needed. Okay, so if a mercy is imminent, you are not going to join in progress. And I will say nothing sucks worse than joining into a game and then 10 seconds later it's over. But this also means with that widening there, that window being widened, more potential for mercies. There's gonna have to be a balance struck here because nobody, like, to me, some of the worst gaming sessions, and it's happened a number of times with things like Iron Banner, you guys have probably experienced it, where you get mercied and then you mercy the other team. You'll go like 4 or 5 games of mercy. You mercy them, they mercy you. And on the analytics side, it's like, look at you. You've got a 50% win rate, right? Because that's kind of like the mark they want to go for. But the games are garbage because everybody just mercied each other and you're not actually getting good gunfights. Yeah, and you spend most of your time, instead of actually like gaming, you're spending most of your time just in orbit. So yeah. Hopefully they work through those things. Now, competitive. We have 2 changes coming to our competitive playlist in Revenant that may sound small, but that we think will have a noticeable positive impact on the experience. We reduced the variability of points granted based on the skill delta between the 2 teams. Currently, the difference in the opposing team's skill compared to your team's skill can have an outsized impact on how many points you gain after a win or lose after a loss. While this can help to offset the sting of falling to a higher skilled team that is currently at or near your rank, the variability can also make the point reward amounts feel confusing. So we streamlined the way the points are calculated to better align the actual rewards with what players would expect to see after a game. We've changed the way placement matches work to make it more accurately tracked towards your expected rank. In the current placement matches model, it can often feel like you're being bounced around between wildly variable experiences as the system hunts for your expected rank placement. The new placement system will narrow in more gradually, and the experience should be significantly less jarring for players of all skills. Okay. You know, let me just say this about competitive. It all comes down to the loot, man. You want me to play comp, you gotta give me something juicy. You know, dare I say, like back in the day, that Luna's How Not Forgotten combo, that made the comp playlist just flush with folks because we were all grinding for it. And look, don't get me wrong, like this is stuff, good quality of life stuff. And I have an all right time in comp. You know, I mean, I get my 3 matches and whatnot, but it just comes down to the loot, dude. They drop Artifice Armor, which is cool, I guess. It is nice. I mean, we're talking about good things. I just mean, like, you know, we had that moment in time where we had that Luna Sound Not Forgotten to chase after, and people went crazy for it and played so much comp. But everyone would be crying about the grind if that happened. Dude, I think people will cry. You know, I mean, of course people are going to cry. People cry literally about everything in this game. You know what I mean? Just let them, you know? Now, lobby balance. It wouldn't be a PvP Strike Team update without some mention of lobby balancing. In update 8.0.5, we have planned to ship a new variant of Snake Draft designed to improve upon some of the issues caused in the base first. But we ran into a bug where in some abnormal situations, fire teams could end up split between the teams. So we had to disable that system while we got a fix in place. While unfortunate, this situation did give us an opportunity to test out a new lobby rank averaging system that was originally intended to be a fallback for Snake Draft should it ever not be able to effectively make a match. Lobby rank averaging works much as the same as average skill, except we rank the players in the lobby from best to worst. So from 1 to 6 for 3v3 or 1 to 12 for 6v6, and then balance the teams based off each player's ranks within the lobby instead of their exact skill values. This allows us to still generally balance the lobby, but it makes it highly unlikely that the best player in the lobby will end up with more than the fair share of lower skill players in order to drag down the actual skill average, because it caps both how high and how low the skills can be perceived. Under this system, most matches end up with skill allocations like what we would expect from snake drafting. However, while there are fewer ways the players can be balanced while achieving the same average on each team compared to average skill, we still experience some situations where the top 3 players can be placed on the same team alongside the bottom 3 players. This can end up creating an odd team dynamic where the critical mass of highly skilled players on one team rolls over the opposite team composed of mostly the average players, despite half of the winning team contributing very little to the outcome. Because of the described occurrence, lobby rank averaging in practice was generally worse than both average skill and snake draft for balancing the outcomes of all solo matches, but significantly better than the initial iteration of snake draft when dealing with fire teams, where the above scenario was unlikely to occur. We believe with some minor modifications to the rules to prevent the situations described above, it will be a sufficient fallback lobby balancer for the future. All told, this makes 4 different variants of lobby balancing that we have tested in the live game, and now we believe we have corrected the issue in our improved snake draft system. We're rolling it out as our 5th. We're still saving the deep technical jargon explanations on how lobby balance works for a later article, but to give you a heads up on what we're changing, here's a TLDR. Lobby rank average, which was active from 8.0.5 and onward, didn't always work well for all solo games, but it worked better than base snake draft for fire teams and usually created less frustrating team compositions compared to average skill. We have fixed an issue in the newest variant of snake draft that could lead to pre-made fire teams being split up, and we'll be re-rolling it out in 8.1.0. While an improved snake draft will be the primary lobby balancer entering Revenant, lobby rank average will be the fallback. Can I just say the names for all these things are really just messing with me? I mean, we got snake draft, we got lobby rank averaging lobby rank snake. I mean, average skill rank. I don't even know how they said we got 5 variants at this point. Can anybody keep up with this shit? We're excited to get this newest iteration out in the wild again, and we'll continue to iterate and tune the formulas as needed until we can strike the correct balance for Crucible. Okay, so this is a good read. Thank you so much for this, Bungie. At the same time, Bungie, you could literally just say, hey, matchmaking's been shit. Should be better next season. Let us know. Sandbox. There's lots to talk about in the Sandbox, but we had an abilities and gameplay preview last week, and next week we'll have a weapons and armor preview, so we're not going to spend too much time on it here. We did have one note we missed last week. In Revenant, we are going to be placing a cap on the amount of crouch inputs you can enter per second to equalize hold to crouch with toggle crouch in terms of its behavior. This limit is something that can be tuned, and because a tactical crouch or 2 during an engagement is an expression of skill and not something we want to discourage, we verified in our playtesting that our first pass was set so that it would be difficult to tell a limit existed if you were crouching at a normal cadence. However, our goal is to reduce the amount of untargeted crouch spam done either manually or via macros encountered while playing Crucible. We can further change the value as needed to prevent this behavior. In addition, we also want to focus on a small bit of weapon balance we'll have upcoming and generally give a summary of where our meta sits currently. How do we feel about this? No. Teabagging is not dead. I mean, you may not be able to go crazy with it. What this means, you ever been in those gunfights and a guy comes around the corner and he's fucking all over the place? That's because a lot of those guys actually have macros. They have macros. And when they hit that button, their character is just fucking bobbing, baby. Bobbing around every fucking corner. It seems like now, when you go to crouch, it'll be like, I'm assuming you're going to be able to do 2 to 3 crouches. But anything beyond that, I guess you're just going to be stuck. You're probably just going to be left standing there or left in crouch mode. I think this is good. Yeah. Crouching should cause slight flinch. Let's just... Okay, I like to crouch in the middle of a gunfight, but I do a normal drop crouch. Just a single one. Now, primary weapons. As you can see from the charts below, kills over expected displayed on the y-axis and percent of kills on the x-axis. We don't have a ton of outliers. Handguns are the clear favorite at high skill levels, but auto rifles and pulse rifles are both making a strong showing. And our more niche primary weapons, some machine guns, sidearm, and scout rifles, are all similarly clustered. Okay. Now, primary weapon medicines, 8.0.5, all skills. Okay. All right. So this is the high skill gap. Okay. Yeah, I got you. This is primary weapon medicines, 8.0.5, high skill. You can actually look at the different weapons. Okay. All right. Look at Rose. Look at Rose all the way out here. Hot damn it, brother. Where's Midnight Q? No Midnight Coup? Does nobody else like rocking Midnight Coup? Elsie makes sense. Rose makes sense. Ace of Spades makes sense. Hawkman makes sense, yeah. However, when we check the detailed stats, we can see that a handful of weapon supplements are making up most of the representation for the well-performing archetypes: adaptive hand cannons, adaptive auto rifles, and high-impact pulse rifles. None of them are egregiously too strong. So for Revenant, we want to focus on bringing up the low performers more than nerfing the strong options. We're going to be making some minor changes to both ends. Most of the changes we are making to underperforming weapons are focused around increasing their forgiveness or allowing them to be better to better interact with damage boosts in general. We do not want to be moving optimal time to kill around too much from where they are now. The one exception is heavy burst pulse rifles, which are also getting an RPM change, but we'll discuss that in more detail next week. Wow. All right. Nullify, guys. I think it's a phenomenal pulse rifle inside of PvP. Now, granted, statistically, it does get beat, especially against like other high impact pulse rifles. But let's get into the numbers. Nurse, adaptive handguns, base damage from 44.7 to 44.5, critical hit damage from 80.3 to 80.1. Slightly reduces 3-time range once damage fall-off begins. Less than a meter. That's such a marginal change, but all right. Adaptive auto rifles, critical hit damage from 26.5 to 26.25. Reduced forgiveness against high resilience tiers. Okay, that's going to be a bit more noticeable. High impact pulse rifles, critical hit damage from 40.1 to 39.6. Okay. Lowers the resiliency threshold to force 6 critical hits instead of 5 crits, 1 body shot to 5. I feel like that's going to put even more focus on Headseeker now, right? We'll have to check. We'll have to look to see what you can accomplish with this, with the Headseeker high impact pulse. All right, buffs. Adaptive submachine guns, base damage from 10.9 to 11.5, decreases body shot time to kill. Okay. Precision auto rifles, base damage from 19 to 19.4, critical hit damage from 33.6 to 33.95, reduces the nerf they received in Into the Light by 50%. Okay, all right. High impact auto rifles, base damage from 22 to 23, critical hit damage from 40.1 to 41.4, slightly increases forgiveness and range after damage fallout. Precision handguns, base damage from 40.4 to 45.3, critical hit damage from 70.25 to 70.2, decreased body shot time to kill. Now, heavy burst handguns, base damage from 23.8 to 24, critical hit damage from 49.6 to 52.8, slightly increases forgiveness and range after damage falloff, allow better interaction with damage boosts. Now, heavy burst pulse rifles, critical hit damage from 41.95 to 42.55, RPM increase to 320. Hold on. Wow. Nullifies at 300 rounds. So this archetype, heavy burst pulse rifles, are 300 rounds per minute. They're jumping up to 320 now. Dude, that is crazy, fellas. If you look at the top of the DPS charts for primary weapons, heavy burst pulse rifles are already the best. Like, they wreck inside of PvE. Hence why you don't even have to roll the damage perk if you don't want. You can, of course. But now that his RPMs are being increased and I don't see a pullback inside of PvE, they're going to be even nastier. Still going to be ass in PvP. I'm more excited about the RPM change in PvE, but I mean, I'm willing. I mean, it says right here, optimal time to kill is going to go from 0.87 seconds to 0.8 seconds. I've used it. Now, aggressive scout rifles, critical hit damage from 91.1 to 91.8 allows better interaction with damage boosts. All right, everybody break out Dead Man's Tale. Let's see it. This is only PvP changes. Guys, RPM increased to 320. First up, that's going to apply across the board. That's PvE and PvP. Yes, the critical hit damage 41.95 to 42.55. Yes, that's PvP only. But RPM is universal. So that's going to apply to PvE and PvP. Does Graviton Lance count as a heavy burst pulse rifle? Yes, pretty sure. And like Revision 0 and whatnot. Vigilance Wing is a weird one. I've seen overlap with Vigilance Wing be affected by rapid fire buffs and but its impact, I think, places it, I want to say, in high. Is it put it in, what does it put it at? Has it been in high impact territory for Sandbox changes, or is it an aggressive? Vigilance is based on rapid fire, at least it used to be. All right, moving on. Special and heavy weapons. While we continue to work on our new ammo meter system, thank God, we don't have much to share on special weapons at this point. In Revenant, we're going to begin walking back some of the flinch increases that sniper rifles received to try to find a good balance between taking damage, knocking them off their shots, and the movement of the camera itself feeling too jarring to use. We'll also be slightly buffing trace rifles, starting ammo and ammo from crates. All right, so the meter system, doesn't look like we're going to be getting that. Trace rifles up, getting more ammo. So trace rifles increase base PvP ammo from 25 to 29. Hell yeah. It'll make all the difference. Sniper rifles reduce camera roll flinch against players by 10%. Okay. Now, the Crucible heavy weapon meta is dominated by a single weapon with a single role. Hammerhead, an adaptive machine gun with 4 times the charm and killing talent. Really? People be rocking 4 times the charm inside of PvP? I mean, I know Hammerhead's good and I like killing talent. I'm just surprised 4 times the charm is being proc for you guys. All right. While the numerical dominance of this one weapon is concerning, it would be difficult to tune it down without nerfing the perks themselves or the adaptive machine gun subfamily, despite none of the other members overperforming by anywhere near the same margin. Instead, initially, we're going to look at slightly reducing the prevalence of heavy ammo in our 6v6 modes overall, while buffing other underperforming heavy weapons types slightly to better compete, specifically without increasing the actual uptime of heavy ammo. Can I just say, Bungie, you guys could literally get rid of heavy ammo inside of PvP, inside of 6v6, and I would be completely okay with that. I want to fight with my primary gun, occasionally my special, and mix it up with my supers. I'm just not like crazy about heavy. I feel like Iron Banner 2 can get like really dominated by heavy ammo usage. Now, our first pass in Revenant will be reducing the total number of heavy ammo spawns and control from 5 to 4. And in a future release, we'll also look at how the heavy ammo works in other modes like Iron Banner Fortress. If this is not effective in spreading out the usage, we can revisit the amount of ammo certain machine guns earn from heavy crates. Now, high impact machine guns increase critical hit damage by 4%. Okay. Heavy ammo grenade launchers in PvP increase direct impact damage by approximately 7% to 26%. Depending on the blast radius stat to make accurate fire more effective against guardians with overshields or damage resistance. Now, rapid fires increase impact and detonation damage by a further 7%. All right, so trying to move us to use GLs again. Okay, we're also investigating heavy ammo linear fusion rifles for a future release, looking to branch them from their special ammo brethren by reducing their flinch taken from players. All right. Now, Trials of Osiris. We've identified several issues with Trials of Osiris that are contributing to its current state, and over the next 2 episodes, we'll be working towards addressing them in Revenant will feature a smaller push to address some of the low-hanging fruits, while Heresy will have a significant rebuild of the Trials of Osiris experience. We'll share more information on our goals below, but expect a full preview of those changes to come later. Now, in Revenant, we want to address the first handful of issues by improving our map rotations, making sure our weapon rewards are strong and meta-relevant, and improving how the game Sandbox feels when played at a high-intensity level. In the future, we have an additional handful of issues we'd like to address by adding new aesthetic rewards that allow players to show off both determination and skill, further improving the trio experiences so players are motivated to play with friends. And our overall goal is to make Trials more fun and more rewarding for all different types of players. Now, Trial changes for Revenant. During the next episode, we are currently planning on running Trials with the following maps with a handful of flex weeks slotted in throughout the season: Dissonance, Cirrus Plaza, Eventide Labs, Javelin, Burnout, Endless Veil, Altar of Flame, Wormhaven, Rusted Lands, and Midtown. We are interested to hear your feedback on the above selection of maps. Which maps are your favorites for Trials? In terms of rewards, we wanted to add a new and exciting rewards, improve the ones that currently exist in the Trials loot pool, and to strike a better balance in terms of what rewards can be earned each week. For Revenant, we will be introducing a newly buffed, strongly statted heavy burst hand cannon to the loot pool. Yesterday's question, alongside a revision of the rocket launcher, tomorrow's answer. So yesterday's question, this is an arc heavy burst hand cannon. Column 3, air trigger, redacted perk, 4 times the charm, redacted, dragonfly, rapid hits to the paint. Column 4, desperate measures, head seeker, Eye of the Storm, moving target, volt shot, vorpal weapon, and zim moment. Origins, Trials, and Crucible. Wait, what? We're getting a head seeker on a hand cannon? All right. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, for PvE players, Dragonfly, Volt Shots looks pretty good. I'm just, how's Headseeker going to work on this thing? I would say this archetype is not my favorite archetype inside of PvP. I like it in PvE, but PvP not so much. Now, tomorrow's answer. This is a Void High Impact Rocket Launcher. Column 3, Air Trigger, Redacted, Danger Zone, Envious Assassin, Impulse Amplifier, Redacted, and Tracking Module. Column 4, Bait and Switch, Bipod, Chain Reaction, Cluster Bombs, Explosive Light, Frenzy, Vorpal Weapon. Origins will be Trials, Crucible, and Castoid. All right. Okay. Let's see. I don't know what the Redacted perk will be. Air Trigger's kind of an interesting one. Air Trigger on a rocket launcher? I mean, we can just go the round of like Envious Assassin, but what the f*** is Castoid? It's a foundry. It's a weapon foundry, guys. It's the one where when you shoot and it gets a kill, it drops the Telesto bolts. No. Is that it? Is that Castoid? That's Wildcard. Yeah, it's the same thing, guys. That's so when they say Castoid, what they mean is Wildcard. It could be new. It could be new. I assumed it's wildcard. They're not calling it wildcard. They're saying, just like right here, they're not saying the actual origin trait. They're saying the foundry to the origin trait. So like what they're based off of. Wild is based off of the foundry castaway. Now, to improve the existing rewards, we have buffed some of the trial reward subfamilies as mentioned in the sandbox section. Heavy burst pulse rifles, critical hit damage from 41.95 to 42.55. RPM increased to 320. Decrease optimal time to kill from 0.87 seconds to 0.8 seconds. I know they said that earlier. I guess they decided to say it again here. Aggressive scout rifles, critical damage from 91.1 to 91.8. Allows better interaction with damage boosts. All right, am I going backwards right now? I'm just trying to make sure we're not like rereading the same shit. We've also updated the post-game standard non-adept weapon reward. The weekly weapon now has a focused 50% drop rate compared to the others, instead of being the only weapon that can drop. This way, even if the weekly weapon is not something you're interested in, you still have a good chance to earn the other trial weapon rewards. We've already detailed a number of changes coming from the ability and weapon side that we believe will lead to a more balanced experience and promote variety of gameplay at the high end. To take a bigger swing at things, we're also going to be running a very special variant of labs, class-based trials labs. Wow. No more than one of each class per team. So every team must comprise of a Titan, a Hunter, and a Warlock with no duplicates. We're currently having this scheduled to run twice during the season, and we are very interested to hear your feedback on how it plays. Matchmaking will be active, so you can play solo or in a duo, and the matchmaker will find players who do not match your class to fill out your team. About damn time. Hunters, you fuckers have been circle jerking now for years, okay? Now, a Titan and a Warlock has to be in that circle jerk. Good. Look, so twice a season. I think it's something that should have been done a long time ago. I'm down. Now, there are also a couple additional changes that are currently being tested, and we hope to have them available to release sometime during the episode. Increase the Osirian ciphers cap and allow them to have a chance to drop as a post-win reward on 7-win cards. Okay. And the cap's going to increase. All right. Reducing the stratification of the FTMM, so fire team matchmaking, to allow duos to match trios more often, with the goal of providing loss forgiveness for any solo that gets brought in to fill out the game alongside the duo if they complete the match. Interesting. So if you're a solo, you get matched with a duo, and you're up against a trio team, you will get loss forgiveness. Wow, that's interesting. What Bungie's really trying to do is they're wanting people to play in trios more. All right, future trial changes, sneak peek. Now is the time to share all the details, but we give a short preview of what we are working towards with our Trials of Osiris rework for Heresy. And that's the episode after Revenant. Add new aesthetic rewards to Trials, including a new armor set for each class and a new ship, Sparrow, Ghost, and exclusive emblem. Make the Challenger pool less of an all-or-nothing experience that prioritizes flawless or bust gameplay. Lean on what we've started with the flawed card rewards to reward win streaks, making it feel like it's not a waste of time to play even if you fall at the gates. We want to improve the story of the flawless set of aesthetic rewards so that high-skill players can flex appropriately. Seeing a player with a specific armor glow or a new Trials emblem should mean something special and not just be a generic trophy. However, for Trials to succeed, there needs also to be something for everyone. We want to bring additional players to the Trials by offering an alternative experience more like Iron Banner in terms of the loot chase, but for 3v3. The focus here is on making it rewarding to play and not necessarily reliant almost entirely on wins to attract players who otherwise avoid the current iteration of Trials entirely because of the perceived high-stakes nature. We also want to update the menu to be more in line with the modern sandbox. For example, we're experimenting with making zones appear later in each round and increasing the time it takes to capture the zone, among other potential changes. All right, so again, Bungie's all about penetration right now, and obviously here they're wanting to see more penetration in Trials. And maybe this works. I feel like they've already done a lot here lately with the ability to still get an adept drop, you know? All right, and beyond. Trials isn't the only thing that is going to be getting a major overhaul in Heresy. We're also making big changes in the way we organize and schedule our playlists, rebuilding our skill tracking system, and making some substantial updates to the way rank is rewarded in our competitive playlists. Okay? Sandbox, we are investigating additional Crucible-specific tuning for ability uptime. We do not have details to share at this point, but as soon as we have narrowed down the values, we will communicate them. We're also looking at Crucible-focused tuning for the Storm's Edge Super and Knucklehead Radar exotic armor piece. Oh, the modified Supremacy Mode hardware will also be returning to labs after Revenant's first Iron Banner weeks. So Crucible focused tuning for the Storm Edge Super and for Knucklehead Radar. Okay. What's going on with Knucklehead Radar, guys? Is it too good? You could track people behind walls? Yeah, man. People don't like that. That's what One-Eye Maz used to be able to do. Except back in the day, if you not only have wall hacks, if you killed them, you got an overshield. I like Knucklehead Radar, man. It's hard to push somebody with knucklehead radar. Aiming down sights, still see everything. Got tracking as well. Pretty nice. Now, playlist reorganization. We're going to focus on offering a good variety of options with minimal overlap in terms of experience without splitting the population into too many individual silos. Our goal is to use what we've learned over the last year with an aim to consolidate and solidify our playlist into options that better represent the experiences Destiny PvP can offer without negatively affecting matchmaking times or connection quality. Okay, Iron Banner. We're planning to offer a more relaxed variant of Iron Banner with minimum matchmaking stratification and a focus on the less serious game modes like Fortress, Eruption, and improved version of Tribute. We're going to improve the Iron Banner experience, especially for casual and mixed skill fire teams, so we're investigating better sorting fire teams based on the skill variants present within them, so we can more effectively differentiate between an actual high-skilled stacked fire team and a casual mixed-skill group of friends or clanmates playing together. Rewarding fire teams better in general to incentivize grouping up, like what we've begun to do in Trials. It's probably going to be an incentive to be in a 6-stack then. Yeah. Okay. I got it. Let me just say for Iron Banner, guys, my favorite thing to do in Iron Banner is to just cheese out, man. You know, go up in there, 6 Bubble Titans, 6 Stacy Warlocks, and just, it doesn't matter. We win, great. The point is to be a menace. Just to be a menace. When we did that 6 Titan loadout with Wither Hordes holding fortress zones, it was a lot of fun because you were just being a menace. All right, now skill and rank changes. We want our skill system to be more transparent and easily understood so players can get a better feeling of where they sit relative to other players for matchmaking purposes. Competitive points gained should feel like they make sense. The ladder you climb should be more easily understood. So we're going to move back to a system where players' performance and match has more of a direct impact on how much you gain or lose. Winning and losing will always be the biggest factor in your points, but your performance can help to give you a boost upwards or offset a close loss. And each player should be able to easily understand why they earned the amount they did at the end of each game. Speaking of competitive, we also wanted to improve Collision's gameplay and investigate ways to make the matches feel fairer and make the game mechanics more predictable. Current examples include making it so contesting a zone flips its neutral, so neither team gains points if both teams are inside of it. Making zone rotations less random by preventing next zones from spawning next to an active zone. Experimenting with different timings for the zone moving. We're also going to be adding a variant of Collision to private matches and Crucible Labs for players to experiment with, where the zone takes much longer to capture and awards a single point, then rotates once it has been capped. We'll have a lot more details to share with you later this year, but for now, we'll see you in the Crucible. All right. As a final note here from Bungie, that's everything we have for this week. We'll be back next week with a lot more details on Revenant, so you have the best understanding of what's to come, including one article on Wednesday focused on the artifact. Until then, prepare yourselves to gather materials and finish those challenges and triumphs you may have left. We're almost there. That's the 2 community team. All right, guys, the big thing from today, next Tuesday, there's going to be a stream from Bungie. We will be live for that. We'll be watching it. If you want to come by our stream, you can come hang out with us, and we're going to be getting a look at Revenant. But this was a very, very, very long TWAB today with a lot of information and good information.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.